all you need to know, the Bloomberg Quint podcast that prepares you for the day's business.
Good morning and thanks for listening in. This is the daily morning update from Bloomberg Quint and I'm Alex Matthew. Today is the 12th of October. Here's everything that you need to know at the start of the week. First up, the Finance Ministry has informed the Supreme Court of India that the decision to bear the cost of compound interest for borrowers of loans up to 2 crore rupees for the 6-month moratorium was taken in the public interest in the specific context of the pandemic. Further, the scheme for implementation of the decision will be put in place by the 15th of November. The Finance Ministry has also requested not to grant any further relief in the case apart from what has already been decided and submitted in the court. In a win for a lot of residents in Mumbai who had campaigned against the plan to set up a metro car shed in the green lungs of the city at RA Colony, Maharashtra Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray on Sunday announced the scrapping of that plan and said that the project will now come up at Kanjurmarg in suburban Mumbai. In a webcast, Thackeray said that the project will be shifted to government land in Kanjurmarg and no cost will be incurred for the purpose. He said that the building, which has come up so far in RA at a cost of about 100 crore rupees, will be utilized for some other public purpose. The Gst Compensation to states is likely to continue to be the big talking point at the start of this week. The GST Council, in its meeting today, is likely to discuss the suggestion that non-BJP ruled states set up a ministerial panel to achieve a consensus on the issue. The shortfall in compensation will now be discussed today for the third meeting in a row. While some opposition-ruled states are demanding that a group of ministers be set up to arrive at a decision on the mechanism for funding compensation shortfall, BJP-ruled states which have already opted for the borrowing option given by the centre are of the view that they should be given a go-ahead so that they can get money quickly. In the other top news, Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Jagan Mohan Reddy has levelled allegations of impropriety against a Supreme Court judge who is next in line to be Chief Justice of India, sparking an unprecedented confrontation with the judiciary. Reddy has written a letter to Chief Justice of India, S.A. Bobde, alleging that Justice N.V. Ramana interfered with the matters of the Andhra Pradesh High Court through some judges, according to a statement shared by Ajaya Kalam, who is the principal advisor to Reddy. Bloomberg Quint has reviewed a copy of the letter, which cites the incidents but doesn't offer any proof. Moving on, India's top 12 ports have continued to witness a decline in cargo traffic. Volumes fell over 14% in the first half of the current financial year to just over 300 million tons. That's according to the Indian Ports Association. Cargo volumes at these ports, handling 60% of the nation's traffic, have declined for the 6th straight month in September. In international markets, the offshore yuan fell in early trading after Chinese policymakers acted to restrain its strength by making it easier to bet against. Equity markets have begun the week mixed. 2 of the 3 early risers in the Asia-Pacific region have started in the red. And with that, it's over to Hormuz Fatakir for the trade setup for the day in India. Morning, Hormuz. How are we looking at the start of the week?
Good morning to you, Alex, and to our listeners as well. Well, I may have wished you a good morning, but this morning is not likely to be a very good one for Vedanta. Now, the metal major on Saturday said that its week-long delisting offer has failed. Now, for a successful delisting, the company required around 134 crore shares to be tendered, out of which only 125 crore shares were validly tendered. Now, the company has said that the shares will continue to remain listed on the bourses. However, what has caught the eye of the people is that bids for over 12 crore shares were unconfirmed. Now, my colleague Sajit Mangat has taken a deep dive into this delisting process. So, for those of you who haven't read the story so far, do catch up with that on BloombergQuint.com. On to some other stocks in focus, and I'll start with Federal Mogul Gazette. It doesn't get spoken about very often, but the company's promoter is planning to sell close to 22% stake in the company through an offer for sale. Now, Friday's closing price for the stock was 448 rupees. Now, the floor price of the OFS has been set at 342 rupees, which is a 21.1% discount to Friday's closing price. The OFS opens for non-retail investors today, while for retail investors, it will open tomorrow. Dr. Lal Pathlabs has clarified that the data breach of patients involved less than 0.5% of the total records. It said that the breach was due to misconfiguration in one of the company's minor web applications and that the issue has been resolved since. A report on Saturday had revealed that data of millions of patients, including COVID-19 test results, had been exposed. We might get to see some reaction in this stock, which has been declining over the last 2 days after hitting a record high on Wednesday last week. Indiabulls Housing Finance continues to sell stake in Oak North Holdings. This time, it has sold some stake to Riva Capital Partners for nearly 441 crore rupees. The total funds raised by the company in September and October so far through these stake sales and a QIP now stand at over 2,200 crore rupees. ONGC said at its AGM on Friday that it may lose anywhere between 6 to 7,000 crore rupees from its gas business after prices were cut by the government to the lowest in a decade. It also expects to complete the merger between MRPL and its arm ONGC Mangalore Petrochemicals by June 2021, post which MRPL will be merged with HPCL. A stock which is likely to react to earnings is Bhansali Engineering Polymers. Net profit was up 75% as compared to last year, while margins were at an 11-quarter high. Some other updates on stocks. RITES has secured orders worth 103 crore rupees, so keep that on your radar. Also, Shilpa Medicare's formulation facility in Telangana has received a warning letter from the US FDA. The company, however, has said that the warning letter will not impact operations or revenues from the said unit. Now, two companies with contrasting IPOs will be making their debut on the bourses today. Mazgaon Dock Shipbuilders first, which became the most subscribed PSU IPO with subscriptions of over 150 times, will be listing on the bourses today. Also listing will be UTI AMC, which huffed and puffed its way to full subscription on the final day of bidding to be subscribed 2 times. Now, some buzzing stocks that I would like to highlight. Watch for Thyrocare Technologies, which has been unstoppable ever since it released its second quarter business updates last week. The stock is up 40% in the last 5 trading sessions and is trading at a record high. Keep an eye out for GNA Axles and Shalby, which will be reporting their quarterly results today. And lastly, watch for ITC, where CLSA has upgraded the stock to buy from Outperform and a price target of 220 rupees. Early ticks on the SGX Nifty indicate that the index was flat around the mark of 11,950. Both Sensex and Nifty are witnessing their largest gaining streak since November of 2019. In case of gains in today's session, the gains will extend to the 8th straight day. The last time both Sensex and Nifty gained for 8 days in a row was over 2 years back in April of 2018. With that, I hand it back to Alex, not before giving you my daily reminder of logging into BloombergQuint.com and reading our All You Need to Know copy, which is your one-stop shop to keep yourself abreast ahead of the day's trade. Have a safe day, all of y'all.
Thanks, Hormus. And as always, thank you all for listening in. That's all we have for you on this podcast, but as always, there's a lot more on the website, BloombergQuint.com, so don't forget to check it out. This is Alex Matthews signing off. Have a great Monday and an amazing week ahead.
I hope you enjoyed listening to All You Need to Know. Did you know that you can listen to the show on the IVM Podcast app? On the IVM Podcast app, along with this, we have a number of other shows which you think you will enjoy. Listen to Cyrus Says with Cyrus Brocha as the host. Listen to Paisa Vaisa with Anupam Gupta. The Scene and the Unseen with Amit Verma. Or Shunya One hosted by Shiladitya Mukhopadhyay and myself. Check out the IVM Podcast app to get more talk content that you will enjoy.